Motivation feels like fuel, but in reality, it behaves more like weather. Sometimes it arrives suddenly, sometimes it disappears without warning, and like weather, it is rarely under your control. Yet millions of people build their ambitions around it. They wait for the moment they feel ready, the moment they feel inspired, the moment the emotional conditions seem perfect. But by tying action to motivation, they unknowingly tie progress to instability. Motivation creates the illusion that action must begin with emotion. You feel excited, so you start. But emotions fluctuate constantly. Mood changes, sleep changes, stress changes, environment changes. When those conditions deteriorate, motivation disappears. And when motivation disappears, action stops. Progress becomes irregular. Reliance on motivation means relying on conditions outside your control. External events influence mood. Mood influences willingness. Willingness influences effort. This chain places your progress at the mercy of circumstance. A stressful day interrupts action. Fatigue postpones commitment. Distraction delays effort. Soon, days become weeks. Weeks become months. The plan remains intact, but execution vanishes. Disciplined individuals operate differently. They remove emotion from the equation. Instead of asking, "Do I feel motivated?" they ask, "What does the system require today?" Systems replace fluctuating enthusiasm. A system does not wait for mood. It waits for execution. Systems operate regardless of emotional state, whether the day feels productive or discouraging, whether motivation is high or absent. This creates stability. Stability enables consistency. Consistency enables compounding. Small actions repeated daily begin to accumulate. At first, the progress is barely visible, but accumulation is silent power. Waiting for motivation resets progress repeatedly. Each pause interrupts momentum. Each interruption increases resistance. Restarting requires psychological energy, energy that is harder to generate each time. Momentum behaves like inertia. Once movement begins, continuation becomes easier. But once movement stops, restarting becomes expensive. Momentum is fragile, but it is also valuable. It reduces friction. Tasks that once felt difficult become routine. Effort decreases. Efficiency increases. Successful individuals protect momentum carefully, not by waiting for motivation, but by preventing interruption. Every decision consumes mental energy. When you constantly decide whether to act, you introduce friction. Should I do this today? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe later. These micro-decisions accumulate fatigue. Fatigue leads to postponement. Postponement leads to stagnation. Disciplined individuals reduce decision fatigue through pre-commitment. Pre-commitment means deciding once instead of repeatedly. The decision is made in advance. The schedule is fixed. The action becomes automatic. No negotiation with mood. No discussion with procrastination. Execution replaces deliberation. And with fewer decisions required, consistency increases. Routines transform effort into habit. Habit shifts behavior from conscious control to automatic execution. Automatic behavior requires less willpower. Less willpower reduces resistance. Reduced resistance increases sustainability. This is why routine appears boring. But boredom is not weakness. Boredom is stability. Consistency rarely looks dramatic. It is repetitive, predictable, often unnoticed. But mathematics favors repetition. One action per day seems insignificant, but over months, repetition compounds. Over years, the difference becomes extraordinary. What appears sudden is usually accumulated. Stories often celebrate bursts of inspiration, but sustained achievement rarely depends on inspiration. It depends on structure. Structure reduces emotional interference. Structure protects momentum. Structure maintains direction when enthusiasm fades. Those who rely on inspiration experience cycles. Those who rely on systems experience continuity. Over time, consistent behavior reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who executes. Action becomes part of self-concept. And when identity aligns with behavior, resistance declines. You no longer ask whether you feel ready. You simply act. Motivation feels powerful, but it is unreliable. Discipline feels ordinary, but it is stable. The difference between the two determines trajectory. Motivation begins action. Discipline sustains it. Act first. Motivation follows. Act first. Build the system. Protect the momentum. Subscribe to PsyArchive to unlock the next psychological file.